Hello and welcome to another installation. It's our NFL Week 9 DFS strategy and lineup builds. It's your boy Q, aka Young Moolah. Let's just jump right into it. We are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most appreciatively grateful and blessed. Guidelines to achieve and build GAB Sports. Yes, thank you. Thank you once again for joining us. Please come go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Yeah, week 9. I think each slate is going to present a path where you believe is the best way to go to achieve your goal for that week, and our goal is always finishing the top tier, the top 0.1, 0.2% of the standings of these contests that we're in. Yeah, we're shooting for the home runs each and every week. And we've been feeling good about our processes. I mean, there's things that we have to definitely tighten up each week. And you get so close some weeks and you're thinking close is good, but in actuality, close is not, doesn't count here. It's almost like horseshoes and hand grenades, right? We're close, from my point of view, isn't good enough. You have to just put it all together. And because there is the opportunity to do that each and every week, to put it all together. And seeing things pretty clearly each and every week. I have no doubts about that. But we just have to put everything in place in the same lineup or two. And I think we've narrowed down the possibilities this week where we're not going to expose ourselves to so many different areas to be able to fail. Because last week, to be quite honest, was a very tough slate. Yeah, week 8 presented so many different landmines, so many different angles that there was never really a clear angle. You just had to try different things, right? And some of those things worked. Some of those things did not. And I think week 9, it's a lot more straightforward. There's going to be a ton of points this week, number one. So that's one thing that we have to definitely look for, that there's going to be a ton of points available this week. And to kick things off, we're going to jump into one of our new segments. What you talking about, Willis? That's right. Forget what you thought is back again. And for me, the forget what you thought, this is what you need to know, how it applies this week. These defenses that I keep hearing about, that we need to be concerned about, the matchup is tough because this defense presents this matchup and they're tough, this and that, about these defenses, right? Because in fantasy, we're looking for the offensive production. So the defenses, in my opinion, in this era, and when I say this era, the last 4 or 5 years, basically, this type of era where the offensive rules, the rule changes have always benefited the offensive teams, because the NFL, frankly, wants a lot of points to be scored. They want that excitement of the touchdowns. They're changing rules each year, even with the kickoff rules. That's trying to get better starting field position for teams, right? And so to me, I'm not concerned about defenses, right? So when I keep hearing about, okay, Brian Flores defense, this team's facing Brian Flores and the Vikings defense this week. He's tricky. You better watch out. Well, let's just look at some things. You mean the Brian Flores defense that Kamani Vidal just went and shredded for like 115 plus and a touchdown, and the Chargers racked up over 200 yards rushing against the Brian Flores defense that allowed Kenneth Gainwell to gain 100 yards and 2 touchdowns? Kenneth freaking Gainwell? This Brian Flores defense I'm supposed to be concerned about? The Brian Flores defense that just allowed Jalen Hurts to just wally mop them. I mean, this guy threw 23 passes, completed like 75% of them for over 300 yards, 14 and a half yards per attempt, perfect passer rating, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I'm concerned about this Brian Flores defense. Well, I'm just not concerned about this Brian Flores defense. I'm simply not going to do it. And I'm not just going to pick on Brian Flores. It permeates throughout the entire league. I mean, you got Carolina. Everybody's, you can't run against this defense. Oh, well, they got cooked, literally. This defense got cooked. James Cook and the Buffalo Bills went in there and just shredded them like a hot knife through butter. He just walked right through that defense on his way to 200 yards on like 15 carries. He got 200 yards. I'm supposed to be concerned about defenses in this era of fantasy football, this era of the NFL has me concerned about defenses for my fantasy teams, my fantasy lineups. Bullshit. We're just going to put a wrecking ball to all that nonsense and forget what you're talking about. Not worried about any defenses. I mean, if you look at even the traditional powerhouses like the Steelers, the Eagles have been good on defense, the Ravens, all these defenses are pretty much down this year. I'm not concerned about defenses. This is just not, I'm attacking anybody. I'm not worried about the defenses. I'm not going to go into, if it's all about defenses that are playing sorry offenses. Now, if I'm a pretty good defense and I'm playing a sorry offense that just hasn't done anything, that has no weapons, that can't really muster any offense, okay, yeah, you worry about the defense then, because this offense sucks anyway. But when I got good teams playing good defenses, I'm not going to worry about the defenses. Just simply not, right? What you talking about, Willis? All right, so enough on that. Forget what you thought. This is what you need to know. Forget about the defenses as we move on. But one caveat, there is one defense I will not mess with. I will not go against this defense, especially when they're at home. And that is the Houston Texans. These guys are flying all over the place. And D'Amico Ryans has constructed that defense in his image. He's the head coach. And that is one defense I will give a pass on this particular take here about forgetting defense. I'm not going to attack the Houston defense, but mainly because not that they're like a traditional super powerhouse defense like the Steelers were years ago when you just could not run against the Steelers. I don't care who you were. They had a stretch of games where you couldn't get 100 yards rushing, no matter who you were. The Ravens of the 2000 Ravens. Yeah, I'm not comparing the Texans to any of those style of defenses, but for this day and age, there's just way too many softer spots than to go after the Texans. So that's one team that I will give a little bit of a pass to as far as not attacking them, okay? Houston Texans. Stay away from them. All right, so let's go ahead and go over to a lineup review of our Week 8 over here on DraftKings. Highest scoring lineups, actually. And you see we got 143 points. And we came out of those early slate of games with just Saquon and Pitts and the Bears, who didn't add much. But the Saquon and Pitts plays, were pretty strong plays, at least especially the Saquon play. It came in at only 12%. Which was low enough for a guy of his stature. And he was one of my feature guys last week. So we did have him quite a few lineups. And so we were primarily relying on this Dallas-Denver game to carry us to, a pretty decent score, right? With the 1 point from the Bears, we weren't looking for first place, most likely. But we were looking for a decent score based on what we already had accumulated with Saquon and Pitts. And so I loaded up on that game for this lineup with a Dak stack that I knew would be super low on. And if this game happened to go back and forth, or even if they fell behind where Dak had to really air it out, I figured they could get there, right? And so we went with Dak and the two high-priced receivers, which was a very unique angle to take. And we ran back with Dobbins and Franklin, which I felt good about. And another one of my strong plays, as you know, if you listened last week, was Tez Johnson. I was all over this guy. I had maybe 60, 70% of this guy. So I had Tez Johnson also to round off the lineup. And so the Dallas game gave me the script that it was okay. They fell behind, right? And so you just waited for the opportunity where, okay, well, Dak is going to have to air it out. He's going to have to start airing out. But they just could never get in sync, right? And so the lineup for where eventually Schottenheimer ended up raising the white flag, calling off the Dogs, and they just quit, right? Somewhere early in the fourth quarter or mid fourth quarter. And so that was kind of disheartening to see that. But all in all, I'll take the strategy part of it and the angle to know that I had a very good angle to try to reach toward the top of the standings with this type of approach, this type of lineup. And it just didn't get there, right? So this is kinds of things that happen, right? When you say, you can see things pretty clear, you can see your path to getting there. And this is what we want to stress as far as when we're building our lineups. You want to see that you have that path to getting to first place, right? And so with this kind of instruction, I saw that path. It just didn't cooperate, right? Got 68 points out of that Dallas game. But unfortunately, it was all on Denver's side. So instead of being a little more balanced out or having more of it on Dallas' side. But, we'll take it and go from there on to week 9. Move on to week 9. This will be a 3 max entry that I'm going to build here. And looking at this slate, there's going to be a ton of points, as I said. And I really do believe that. There's going to be so many points scored that you can take many avenues here to trying to get here on this week's slate, I think. And there's going to be a lot of different angles. I've kind of narrowed my player pool down over the past day or two. There's news still coming on lots of things. And a guy who just got ruled out was Travis Hunter. I mean, I really want a ton of this guy, but he got ruled out. So now that presents an opening for a guy on that Jacksonville game, I believe, because that's where we're going to start. We're going to start in that game with the Raiders. And I've noticed a little bit of a trend. Teams coming off buys are usually coming back with a vengeance, and I believe that this can continue here. Both of these teams are coming off of a buy. So I think they've, probably worked on some things that they felt that needed shoring up. And I believe that they'll be able to implement some things here against one another because, frankly, both of these defenses, aren't really all that good, especially Jacksonville just got hit with the Travis Hunter news because that's going to impact their defense too as well. And the Raiders, just really haven't shut anybody down, particularly. So I just don't think that they're going to present much of resistance even for the Jacksonville side. So what we like about this game is 2 kind of bad teams, but both are coming off of a bye. So I love me some Geno stacks this week, frankly. Why? Because of our poster boy. So we're going to build us a Geno stack here. And as you can see, our poster boy, we're going right to him. Brock Bowers, fully healthy now. So a lot of people probably got this thing all twisted, right, with Brock Bowers, right? Because, he's hasn't done much all year. But if you look at his game 1, when he was healthy, that was the only time he was healthy, and he got hurt actually late in that game. I was watching that game, so Bowers was lighting up the Patriots. I mean, he was going for like 5-6 catches, well over 100 yards, and so he was on his way to a monster day, and I think he got hurt late in the third quarter, even early fourth, right around somewhere around that time. And so his day wasn't even yet completed, and he was already over 100 yards. But ever since then, it's been a pretty significant injury that he was trying to play through for a couple of games, but he just, couldn't get any traction. It's like an MCL, PCL sprain, something like that, knee bruise, all that. And so now they're saying, he's practicing in full. So I'm anticipating that they're going to come out heavy utilization of this guy. I mean, he's a featured guy, one of the best weapons in the entire league, no doubt about it, when he's healthy. So you're going to see that kind of a Brock Bowers where many people probably were skeptical, but we're ready to jump all in full force. Week 1 of his return. Brock Bowers, one of your top plays, one of my poster boys. Let's do it. Brock Bowers. And so we're going to run this one back. I may not be done stacking the Raiders on this lineup either, but we're definitely going to add a run back. We wanted to go with Travis Hunter, but I'm going to look for some value now out of one of these cheaper receivers. So we only either take De'Ami Brown Let's see. He got like 4 targets. It's either De'Ami Brown or we want to go with Parker Washington. And I'm going to go with Parker Washington. Yeah, I think that slot role that he has is going to be more beneficial to him and the offense, because Trevor Lawrence usually has a tough time throwing to the outside, outside the numbers. He's not that accurate. So I think he'll have an easier time hitting a guy like a Parker Washington who may get a lot of slot utilization in this game. So we're going to go run this back with Parker Washington. But on top of that, I want to play Ginty in this lineup. So we're going to put Ginty actually in the flex because I want 2 other running backs. And so we're going to go Ginty in the flex. So we got Geno, Ginty, Bowers, running back with Parker Washington. So we'll start right there. And now some of our other favorite angles that we want to look at are game environments. And a particular game environment that I'm very interested in will be that Minnesota game. Minnesota against Detroit, right? And again, Brian Flores, what you talking about, Willis? Defense. I'm not concerned about this defense of the Vikings, right? No matter how good on paper think this scheme is and all that, they haven't shown that they can contain many teams, especially this Detroit team that's coming in here rolling on offense, week in and week out, coming off of a bye. I'm sure they've implemented some new wrinkles here. And so I really like this game environment. So we're going to go ahead and take at least a couple plays out of this one for this game. I'm going to go with Gibbs. And as you can see, also, my poster boys are a couple of Lions. I intentionally put that in place here because I like both Gibbs and J-Mo this week a lot. So I'm going to have tons of lineups with those guys. And I may even put them together in a couple lineups. So we're going to roll with Gibbs, but we want to actually run something back here just in case the game script goes how I think it could go, where Detroit gets out fast and then Minnesota has to try to come back, maybe with a lot of pass attempts, things like that, comeback mode, trail mode. So I like not Justin Jefferson. I don't like him that much because of the pricing and also because Addison has a very good history against this Detroit defense where he scored in like 3-4 straight games, I believe, against this Detroit Lions team. So I actually like Addison here. And that leaves us with 5,400 per spot. So we're going to go to one of our favorite running backs that we like on this slate. And that will be Kamani Vidal, who's going up against that Tennessee Titans defense that'll be missing Jeffrey Simmons. And they just haven't been able to stop the run all season. So Kamani Vidal will get a feature workload again this week with Hassan Haskins expected to be at minimum very limited, if not out. So we're going to go with Kamani Vidal. And now that leaves us with, up to about $7K roughly for a receiver spot. I'm going to go ahead and rock with Odunze. Yeah, against that Cincinnati atrocious defense, right? Again, we're bashing all defenses. So whether you're a bad defense or a mediocre defense, you're just all atrocious. You're just all in the same bucket. We're attacking everybody. I'm not worried about defenses this week. Forget what you thought. This is what you need to know. Let's go ahead, attack any defense out here other than the Texans, okay? All right. So now it leaves us with 33 for our defense. Let's see who fits the bill. Denver. Denver's a pretty good defense, although they're missing Surtain, but that's not going to be that big of an issue. Kansas City against Buffalo. They're going to blitz the mess out of Josh Allen, but we're going to go with that Texans defense again at home. We like them. They fly around. They can cause some turnovers. Okay. So once again, We think that there's a lot of different angles you can try this week. And so, but we're looking at game environments as we always are. And we're going to go ahead and stick with that theme. And so we started off with the Geno double. Geno, Genty Bowers ran it back with a value play on the other side. Parker Washington, who should get plenty of snaps now. And he should have slot utilization in the place of Travis Hunter. So we correlated Gibbs and Addison from one of the games that we like in the early portion of the games. And then we also utilized Rome Odunze, again, attacking one of those bad defenses, the Chicago Bears at Cincinnati. And we rounded it out with the Texas defense at home, one of the true, really good defenses in the league. So there you have it. We'll go ahead and save that one. And now let's go ahead and jump on over to Underdog. Jump into a dog bowl. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's see if the dog bowl have any opportunities for us. All right, waiting on 2 people. That's good. All right, once again, thank you for joining us at GAB Sports for our NFL Week 9 DFS strategy and lineup builds. We'll go ahead and draft here on Underdog upcoming. Well, please take the time, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to leave a comment, and we just truly appreciate your support. It's going to be an amazing journey as we build this channel from the ground up. You can't pass up one of these top 3 backs when you're in the top 3 spots. So let's look at one of the receivers we may want to get. We're sitting at 22, 27, 46, 51. 22, 27, 46, 51. All right. See what else we got around the 22nd, 26th picks. Definitely we can go with Mahomes. A little bit of correlation. Kamani in case he falls. Swift is not in any danger, is he? Sits out another practice. Wow. Okay. Could be in a little danger. Jalen Warren. Tyler Warren. I like Chase Brown this week, actually. Brockus Bowers. Brockus Bowers. We're definitely going to bump him up some. All right. So let's see what the board is looking like. All right. We got 8 running backs, 4 receivers taken in the first round. Nez takes Jacobs. Buster's Boys takes Kyron. Jay Baconator went with a receiver. Teddy Onfetti also went with a receiver. Puka Nacua. Do I think DK can come to me? Let's see how many more receivers go. Because by this ADP, he'll be third. The third top receiver left right now. And maybe this guy, fully loaded, might take one. Nope. All right. I think we're going to have to bump up Bowers. I like Bowers here. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Bowers. The Tower of Bowers. Let's see which backs I can get later that I might really like. Dowdle. Travion. Travion going to get there. 48. I don't know if Travion makes it to me, but we're going to try and test it out. We are going to test it out. Because I like DK right here. Yeah, we like DK against the Colts because we really like that game environment. I think this is one of the possible shootout games. Real big shootout, like 70 total points, 38-35, 40 to 34. I think this is one of those games where each team, I'm not really worried about their defenses, obviously. It's like, forget the defenses. But both teams can put some points on the board. The Steelers have actually been scoring against almost anybody. And their defense has been giving up points to just about anybody as well. So you got the collision course of those types of things coming together to create, a game environment that could just go nuclear here. I really believe that. This is one of my preferred games that I will be stacking a lot on both sites. And so, with that in mind, do we add this as a Rodgers stack? We might just go with Rodgers here. Green Bay. Nobody's talking about Green Bay. There's so many teams projected for over 26 points. Right? Nine teams projected for over 26 points. Yes, the Packers are third on the list, 28.75. Don't hesitate to go to a Jordan Love stack. Okay. And who would you stack them with, you say? That is the question. Who would you stack them with? We got Dobbs. All right. Just adding some guys in here. Naked Dart. It's definitely in play. Daniel Jones. Pierce. I mean, what if that Steelers defense just, really focuses on bottling up JT, right? It's going to leave some openings for Daniel Jones to have some opportunities downfield against that man-to-man defense of the Steelers. So, hey, man, that's definitely an option we have to keep in play. Daniel Jones. Let's see who has a quarterback over here on the end. No one. No one on the end has a quarterback, so we're not going to rush it either. We're going to wait. We're going to continue to bide our time at quarterback. Is there any running back that we can even consider here? Not really. I'm going to go 3 receivers. Looks like 3 receiver for us. Or do we go Rico, man? Do we go Rico? Before we do that, these guys all need receivers over here. So we'll take Addison to correlate with Gibbs and a potentially explosive game environment. Don't forget Rico, man. Don't forget Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle, wait on quarterback. Let's see who all has a quarterback or who all doesn't have a quarterback. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 people don't have a quarterback. How many quarterbacks I have in my queue? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can wait on the quarterback, man. We'll take the last one standing. We got Gino. Gino, it is. Out of the 3 hole, let's go ahead and review. We went with Jahmyr Gibbs. And second round, we took a Brock Bowers, who I think is rising up the boards here. And so we want to go ahead and get a number 1 type tight end. And then we got DK Metcalf in a game environment we truly love against that Colts team, who definitely likes to push the pace, scores points. So Pittsburgh's going to have to put up some points here. It'll happen through the passing game. Not a believer in Jaylen Warren. He never scores touchdowns. DK is where it's at in that game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we got Jordan Addison, correlation with Jahmyr Gibbs. Another great game environment. Then we went with a little bit of an underdog this week. Rico Dowdle, underdog on the roll. But, the Packers, are they really that tough against the run? And the coach is hinting at, that he's going to go back to Rico as being the bell cow. So let's see you do it, man. Let's see you do it, Canales. It will definitely help me out. And then we rounded it out with Geno Smith to complete our skinny stack with Brock Bowers. All right. We like our shot here, man. Yeah. So those running backs, the running backs are so deep, and I think you're going to need to smash the running backs because there's just too many great options available, right? Especially at the top. Some of those dudes will smash. Some to different degrees. Just like last week, we had 4 guys over 35 points at the running back spot, right? Similar to week 8, where you're going to have maybe 3-4 guys again get over 30 points, right? At the running back spot. And this is just becoming the trend in the NFL over the past couple of years where teams have adjusted to all these, double two deep safety type defenses that teams were employing with a lot of nickel and dime personnel. And they've countered that with attacking them with the run. And that's resulted in a lot more fantasy points for running backs, as we've seen. And that trend doesn't look like it's slowing down. So play those running backs in your lineups. All right. That's why over here on Underdog, it's always a little bit more EV to go with your 1-2-2-1 structures where you get the 2 running backs, especially when the running back position is deep like it is this week. In fact, I might want some Travion over here. I haven't gotten any Travion so far, especially the news just broke. Let me see, how far do I have him down? Yeah, so we got the 4th pick coming up here. Okay. No surprises. Expect Gibbs to go right here. Gonna go Puka. Puka back. Puka's back. Way back. Puka's back. Puka's back. Yeah, he's back. All right. She Rice is our next consideration. Flacco, did he practice today? Let's see. Because usually with Jamar Chase, we definitely want Flacco to be playing, not that Browning guy who just can't do anything. So he's questionable, Flacco, huh? He's questionable. Questionable. Yeah, we can't mess around with that one. So we'll go with James Cook, who's actually kind of lit these guys up, man. I think he got 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs last year in the 2 games, combined 4 touchdowns. So a lot of people have been overlooking James Cook, especially last week. He was really low on and just ran through that Carolina defense like they weren't even there. So, yeah, this is a tough matchup against the Chiefs, allegedly, right? But, man, come on, man. These are stud players here on Buffalo. Josh Allen, James Cook. They can excel in any environment against any defense. So, yeah, we're going to have some Cook. Let them cook again. Where's Travion? Might go late backs. Yeah, I haven't updated my rankings yet with this latest news, so. We got one back already. Oh, yeah, we like a doomsday right here for sure. We definitely like a doomsday right there. That's exactly what we wanted to do. Get Bowers right there. Okay. Any correlations we're after? Not really. What quarterback shall we get? I don't know. We like Caleb. We like Drake May. If Drake May gets back to us, we're going to go Drake May Travion. See if this guy on the corner has a back that he can. But he's got the double tight. He can't take 2 backs. He's got to take another receiver. Okay. This guy has 1 back. No quarterback. He might take Drake May. Is Drake May going to get to us? Is this guy going to pass? Yes, Drake May gets to us. All right, we'll take him. Drake May and hopefully Travion. Let's see. This guy can take a back, or he has to take 1 back, or doesn't have to. He can take a receiver and a quarterback. Let me get Travion or Etienne probably. I'll take either one. Okay, I got Travion. Go with Travion, Drake May. Let's do it. We went with a Drake May Travion, skinny, the unconventional stack of the quarterback and the running back. But remember, Travion catches balls too. So if he catches a passing touchdown, wow, that's going to be all the more gravy on top. And then we got James Cook in a game where there should be a lot of points, expected from Vegas, right? Highest total on the board. Well, that one and the I haven't checked back with the Cincinnati game, but they're roughly neck and neck, I believe. And then we have Puka in the early game. At home, it's return. And I think Puka may smash here. Got a Doomsday game that we like. And Brock Bowers, our number 1 tight end for the week. Yeah, let's roll with that one. Okay, how many people went not 2 backs here? We got, all right, we're going to jump back over to DraftKings and close it out with one more lineup build. Okay. We're going to utilize some of those value backs that I do like this week. All right. And so we're going to round out. We're going to start with our backfield build here. And we're going to go ahead and again use Gibbs. And this time we're going to include JMO. All right. Getting a discount on JMO. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to throw in our other poster boy of the week. 5K Brock Bowers. Oh, I definitely am not passing on that. And we're going to round out our backfield. We're going to play 2 more running backs in this lineup. 2 more running backs. 2 guys. McCaffrey. And then we're going to play one of our very big value guys who not a lot of people are going to be on. I think he's going to get a ton of utilization. And that is this guy right here, Brashard Smith for the Chiefs. Ton of utilization. Okay. So, do we want to stack any of these teams here? Again, we can go with another Geno stack. If we wanted to, we can go with the golf stack, maybe even bring in Avalanche play with I'm on Raw, but then that'll take up quite a bit of salary. So what I think I want to do, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a naked Josh Allen on this lineup. He's got to turn into Superman to try to beat the Chiefs, right? Yeah. And we're not going to run him, stack him with anybody because who can you trust on that passing team? You know, every once in a while you get lucky and hit a touchdown with Khalil Shakir or Dalton Kincaid, but we're just going to go naked. All right. Then we're going to go back to our one of our top value plays, either Diami or Parker. We're going to continue with Parker. On the Bears side, we like some DJ Moore. Let's see what his stat is. Okay. We're going to go with DJ Moore. All right. That leaves us with $3K for our defense. Pierce. YOLO Pierce, huh? A YOLO Pierce. We're going to go with Alec Pierce in that same Pittsburgh game. Instead of DK, we're going to go with Alec Pierce. Yeah, he can hit a home run. So that leaves us with 3,600. Can we get one of our favorite defenses? Oh, we don't have enough for the Rams, but we do have enough for the Patriots against that turnover-prone Atlanta defense. We're going to take the Patriots here. All right. So our final lineup build on DraftKings, we got Josh Allen, naked. And now we have a double play from the Detroit Lions. Our poster boys, we're combining the two in the same lineup. Yes, we are. That's Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams. And then we have Christian McCaffrey, one of the top plays. He'll be very popular, of course. But we want to go ahead and get some points with a pretty big ceiling here in this game against the Giants, who have been very accommodating to running backs this season, to say the least. So we'll go ahead and put him in there, CMC. Then we come with 2 value receiver plays. One in the early game, Alec Pierce against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We really like that game environment. Then we come back in the later game with Parker Washington, who's correlated with our number 1 tight end, Brock Bowers. Then also, to round off this late game, we got a sneaky play who I believe will be very involved this week due to Isaiah Pacheco being pretty much ruled out. He will be ruled out very soon. That's Brashard Smith, who will be very involved in the passing game. And I've seen him play in a lot of the red zone packages for this team so far. And that will probably even increase now with Pacheco out. So expect to see a lot of Brashard Smith this week for the Kansas City Chiefs. Rounding it out, we utilize the Patriots defense with our remaining salary. And there it is. There you have it. Again, look for these running backs to smash this week at any price tier you want. Combine 2-3 of them in the same lineup, preferably 3 with the running back in the flex. That looks like a winning proposition this week. Don't be scared though to try different things. You know, if you want to go with a double tight end, there's a lot of good tight ends on this slate. You know, the receiver pool is looking pretty thin this week, I would say. But that's going to be where you may gain your edge, going for a lot of these low-owned receivers who could be in good spots, right? And so there you have it for our NFL Week 9, DFS strategy and lineup builds. Thank you for joining us. Guidelines to achieve and build. Leave a comment. Go ahead, like and subscribe. Visit our store. But once again, thank you. Good luck. Hope to see you all at the top of the standings. Peace, and we're out.